I'm Mitchell Brandner, and joining me today is Evan Mathias, and we are starting the podcast for the Windsor-Essex Hockey Perspective website. Excited to be here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun doing this. What do you think?
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Lots of local hockey to talk about. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. We'll do everything from Vipers down to the Canadians, down to minor midget AAA. We got everything on this show, so it should be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. We're going to start off with the Vipers, obviously, because, wow, 3-0.
Great start to the year. I think they're surprising everybody right now.
Who was expecting that after losing how many of their top scorers, you said?
Top 5 goal scorers from last season.
Top
point
5.
Scorers.
Top 5 scorers. And the new guys are stepping right in and having an immediate impact, including Devin Paliani right now is on fire.
16-year-old kid comes in first year in Junior B. 5 goals in last 3 games. Just lighting it up for LaSalle right now.
Yeah, team leading 8 points. Actually, I think that's league leading 8 points, if I'm not mistaken. 2 years ago, played for the Sun County AAA, 30 points in 30 games. Last year, the Hill Academy Prep School. No idea what that is. You have any idea?
Never heard of it. No.
Well, anyway, he had 74 points in 73 games there. So obviously, the kid's putting up points wherever he's played so far, and that looks to be continuing right now.
Absolutely. I can't believe how well the Vipers have played offensively this year. 16 goals in their first 3 games, and for a team that was expected to struggle offensively, they've just picked up right where they left off last year in goal scoring.
A kid that's had a big part of that is Aaron Luchuk, who I absolutely loved at the Spitfires training camp a couple weeks ago. I think he was fantastic. A little small, obviously. Anyone that's seen him play can tell he's a little small, but he doesn't play small, and I like that about him. He's listed at 5'10", 192. I think that might be a little generous, but he's also a 97 born. He doesn't play like he's that small. He's not afraid to go into the corners. He's not afraid to throw his whatever weight he has around, and he'll go to the dirty areas and to get those goals. And he looked well. He looked really well doing that.
I was at the home opener against St. Mary's, and Luchuk was playing like he was 6 feet, 6'2", just hitting everybody, going in corners, battling for pucks, doing stuff you wouldn't expect out of a smaller guy.
Yeah, and that's good to see. They're going to need some of that. Another guy, Andrew Burns. I wasn't overly impressed with him at the Spitfires camp. I thought he was okay, but he definitely looked like he needs some Junior B seasoning. And so far, he's getting it. He's got 3 points in 3 games. Scored his first goal the other night.
Through the first 3 games here, he looks like he deserves to be in Junior B, and he believes that too. He said he believes every 96 and 97 on that Junior B LaSalle team deserves to be there and is ready to play.
Yeah, and they're showing it, going 3-0 so far. Let's move on now to the newest junior team in the area, the Amherstburg Admirals. I personally think they might not be able to challenge the Essex and the Bell Rivers right now, but give this team a few years. This relocation to Amherstburg was the greatest thing they could have done.
I agree. I think Kingsville wasn't really doing it for this club. Not a lot of fan attendance at the games. A very rough couple of years for that Kingsville Comets team. So I think this is just what that team needed. Relocation, get some new faces in, new team, and get ready to play. I
was at their training camp as well, and not just a training camp, but they had some pre-camp scrimmages before that as well. Just the amount of kids that were coming out. They had enough to each week ice completely different teams from week to week for that pre-camp skate, not even the regular training camp. They had 40 guys come out the first week, a new 40 the next week, and it was just unbelievable to see the interest in this hockey team. And I think that's going to lead to them being successful for sure, because you have this many kids coming out. You're obviously going to have a lot more options to pick for your team, and obviously that's going to make you a better team in the long run.
That makes the job for the coaches a lot more difficult, trying to find the right players out of that many kids coming out for tryouts.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest loss would be Daniel Bodwin to the Vipers, but I don't think they will have. Obviously, it's tough to replace what Bodwin did last year for the team, but they have options now that they have this many kids coming out. They have the options to find a replacement, and they looked good in the preseason. They didn't win a lot. They only won 1 game, but they looked good. And I think as it gets more intense, it's good things are going to happen for this franchise. And I think the hiring of Greg Primack was a great move. The guy knows his hockey. He knows what he wants from his team, and he knows how to get it from his team, and that's good. Another team I saw recently, actually against the Admirals, was the Bell River Canadians, and they looked good too, but they always look good.
Bell River looks good this year. They're going to come out and be competitive this year. I truly believe they're going to compete with Essex for another run in the playoffs. Mark Segan shook up the team this year, took a lot of new faces, a lot of younger guys. He said they needed a cultural shakeup for that team, and they kept a few returning players around, but also took on a lot of younger guys who have energy and are ready to come play. I think that's going to be their biggest asset this year, is having guys who want to play all the time, who want the puck on their stick, who want to score goals.
You're not alone in thinking that they're going to challenge Essex this year either. Jim Parker of the Windsor Star did an article on that a couple days ago, and he's right there with you, thinking that it could happen.
I think Essex is on the downward spiral,
and it's about time.
Yeah, they've had I don't want to say an easy go for too long, but I think they're in need of an eye opener this season.
Yeah, and I think if it's going to happen any year, I think it's going to happen within the next couple for sure. A big piece, Corey Bolio. He's returning, obviously, which is huge for them because he's reigning MVP and team leader in points last year. And if you're a betting man, safe bet that he will lead the team in points again this year.
He will be leading the team in points, bar none. That's my opinion.
And not just leading the team in points, but leading the team in a role where he can take younger guys under his wing, because he's been there, done that so many times now that I think there's no question he's going to get to see now that Kevin Boggs has left. Are you in agreement with that?
I agree. I absolutely agree. One of the things that's going to help Essex this year is they got Daniel Slipchuk from LaSalle, came down to play Junior C this year. He didn't have a great campaign with LaSalle last year, but he's a good depth player. He can kill penalties. He's a quick kid, good size. He's going to help that team out for sure.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say for sure. I think that about does it for this first episode. We've kind of covered all the local teams here. Haven't talked about Leamington much. I haven't seen them play yet this year. I'm not sure when they come to LaSalle for the first time, but I'll definitely be there for that. I'm interested to see how Leamington looks this year, because from everything I've heard, they are another team that's looking to challenge for their league title.
Leamington is going to be competitive this year. They picked up a huge offensive player in Dylan Segan from the LaSalle Vipers in a trade in the last couple of weeks. Segan, 17 goals, 40 points in 39 games for LaSalle last year. He's going to help that team out a lot. He is going to produce offensively, and LaSalle's going to pay for that, for giving him up.
He's pointless so far this year, and you're saying you don't expect that to continue for very long.
No, not at all. I expect him to be a point-per-game player.
Yeah, I think you're right with that assumption for sure. Kyle Shaw is another player that plays for Leamington that's very good. He got invited to the Spitfires camp. Actually, he wasn't able to go for personal reasons, but he's got 4 points in 2 games. Do you expect the 2 points per game clip to continue?
Not a chance. No, that's a tall order to fill for the rest of the season. Just quickly back to LaSalle here. I don't believe that their winning ways are going to continue either.
No, I think
they're really stretching their potential right now. As of the first couple games, they only had one returning defenseman from last season, and I don't think they can rely on young players for the entire season. It's not realistic to think that they're going to win this many games consistently.
But it looks good for the future, though, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Their young D-core has played phenomenal for the first few games, which from looking at the players last year is somewhat uncharacteristic outside of their top 2 maybe. Like Burns played well last year, great player. Nathan Veras is the only returning defenseman. He had a good season with LaSalle last year, and through the first 3 games looks set in his ways. He's going to continue what he did last year. He's very smart with the puck, and he's going to have to take a lot of pressure from the younger guys, and I hope he's up to the challenge. Obviously,
it helps having a few OHL draft picks on your team as well.
Yeah, that that is one thing going for LaSalle right now.
Yeah, so I think that's going to wrap it up for the first episode. I think we've informed the people.
It's going to be an interesting season for junior hockey this year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to keep an eye on for sure, and we will be doing that on a weekly basis. We will be giving you guys the updates and our thoughts on the local hockey scene here in the Windsor-Essex County area, and we hope you enjoy it. This was the first episode of the Windsor-Essex Hockey Prospectus podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm Mitchell Brandner, and with me was Evan Mathias, and a quick thanks to Two Fist for the intro music. You can check them out at soundcloud.com.